Does that mean I think those very worst things are going to happen? No. And so people think, we're talked about the tax increase to go towards the sheriff's office to put we're putting 3 more patrol units and cars and officers on the street, 2 more CID, that's criminal investigation, 1 more narcotics officer, and then we're going to enhance the attorneys in the DA's office. Okay, and I think there's another officer involved in that also. I'm not saying we're going to take those guys and stand in front of the UN. I have to think as emergency management director, I have to think of the worst case scenario, and I use that as an example yesterday. Okay, in my opinion, the worst case scenario politically and financially right now is if Obama and the Senate Democrats stay in power. Okay, because I have some opinions what they're doing and what they're trying to do if they stay in power, and I have to prepare for that. Okay, does that mean I think the UN's going to come rolling in to Lubbock? No. That probably is not going to happen. An F5 tornado probably is not going to come into Lubbock. I got to prepare for it though. So the tax increase is for those 3 patrol, 2 CID, 1 narcotics officer, 1 looks like an animal control officer, and enhancement of the DA's attorneys so that we can retain good attorneys, so we can prosecute those things that. Okay, the new patrol units are going to relieve response time. They're going to make response times faster. It's going to have to do with public safety. It has to do with officer fatigue. I have a law enforcement background. Okay, so I know what they go through. Whether it's an 8-hour shift, whether it's a 12-hour shift, those guys get tired. If they know they're going into say a domestic violence situation, which is probably one of the most dangerous things an officer can respond to, and if they know that their backup is an hour away, that's dangerous. Okay, but if they know it's 10 or 15 minutes away and they're already on their way, that just enhances officer safety as well as public safety. So that's what these are for. Not for fighting the UN. They're for public enhancement, public safety enhancement, to relieve officer fatigue, to get response time down, and so that's what those are for.
What do you say to people who are arguing that you are using your personal opinions to make political decisions?
I think most people in public office have to depend on their opinions. Now, let me put it that way. Let me put it this way. They have their own opinions as to what is right and wrong, because they bring those values in with them into office. That's why it's important for people to know what they believe when they get in office. Okay? But they also have to consider the law and the information that is available to them through attorneys and through the treasurer's office and through the auditor's office, and get all that information together so they can make a reasonable decision. Yeah, their values are going to come with them. I don't know of a public official who doesn't bring their value system with them, and that influences the decisions they make. Okay, so when I came in office in '98, I thought, well, I'm going to do this and this and this and this when I get into office. And I come in here and I start doing this, and the attorneys from the civil division say, you can't do that. There's a law that says you can't do this and this, da da da. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to do this over here. Right? You can't do that because the law says blah 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 blah. So you gather the information, you use the value system that you bring in with you, and you make a reasonable, prudent decision. For example, I cannot divorce my theology and my philosophy from me, from my office. I am pro-life. I am pro-gun rights, and if you're going to vote for me and say you don't believe in gun rights, You don't want me in office, so you won't vote for me. Well, I, that's part of me. And so when people are voting for people in office, they vote for their values that they bring in with them. Okay, does that make sense? So, um, and if the people don't like the value system that a particular person comes into office with, then they vote that person out. And that's, in my opinion, Barack Obama or the Senate Democrats or Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi don't have the same value system. They don't have the same opinions that I do. But they're in my opinion, they're um, they're making decisions based upon their opinions and their value system. Well, I don't approve of that, so I'm going to vote against them. So uh, when you make political decisions, or whether if you're making business decisions, your your value system, your opinions are going to have an influence on that, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Do you think that the comments that you made during the Fox interview should be considered or interpreted as a threat against the president?
No, no. I again, I can't divorce my theology and my philosophy. I pray for the president. I come in here in this office between 6:30 and 7 every Monday through Friday, and I pray for him. And I pray for our leaders. We're instructed in the Word of God to pray for our leaders. You know, God put Barack Obama in office. I don't know why he did it. You know, I wouldn't have put him in office, but I'm not God. So, but God has his hand on human history, and he's going to raise up leaders and pull leaders down and raise up nations and pull them down as he sees fit, according to his will and his purposes. So, am I going to go shoot the president? No. I, I don't know that it could even can be considered a threat. I'm just saying, and I'm surprised that some militia groups, say in the north central part of the United States or whatever, I'm surprised that they haven't been more vocal against not Barack Obama, but any government official. But they've been kind of quiet lately, and so I don't know why. But no, that's not a threat at all. It wasn't intended to be a threat.
And what happens if Obama is reelected? What do you plan to
If
do?
Obama is reelected,
Hmm.
um, I don't agree with the health care. I don't agree with the things that he's doing in office. I don't think when he appointed all the czars that don't answer to anybody but him, they don't answer to the people. Uh, I think we're just going to have some more problems. I think with the amount of debt that he has uh, put on the United States, I think probably a financial collapse is imminent if he gets back in. But what are we going to do with the financial collapse? I'm not going to have any money. You're not going to have any money. You know, people aren't going to have money for food or medicine or whatever. How do you deal with that? So you know, it's something that we're just going to have to work through. Uh, I suspect if something like that happens and there is an economic collapse and whatever, I suspect, especially in West Texas, because there seems to be kind of a cooperative spirit in West Texas to help your neighbors more, and that would be good. That would be a good thing, you know. So if Obama gets back in the White House and the Senate Democrats remain control,